Hello all, welcome to Universal Group of Institutions, Bengaluru. Welcome to our very special series on reinterpretation of economic NCRTs in a manner that is useful for the civil services preparation. In our previous video session, we have discussed about the theme called as health, which happens to be the subject of the state list. And we also looked at the National Health Mission. We have also looked at the National Health Policy as well, and the role played by the health with regard to the economic development and the economic growth. In this particular video session, we are going to discuss the final theme that is being discussed here is called as the unemployment. Okay, so let us understand the unemployment through the chapter itself. So we saw there were the entire chapter has been narrated using the stories of two friends. One happens to be the Sakal and another one happens to be the Vilas. So in this particular case, look at Sakal's mother Sheila. She looked after the domestic chores, children, and helped her husband Bhuta in the field. Sakal's brother Jitu, sister Situ spent their time playing and roaming. Can you call Sheila and Jitu or Situ as unemployed? If not, why? The first question. See, what is the unemployment? Unemployment is a situation where a individual is willing to work, but he or she is unable to find one. Yes, if a student, if somebody, because generally the working age population we consider in India as the 15 to 49. Remember 15 to 59. What is a working age, group? What is somebody, if somebody asks what is a working age group in India, this is 15 to 59. This working age group, going by the UN specialized agency, that is ILO, International Labour Organization, the working age according to ILO is 15 to 64. So somebody who is part of this working age group and he or she is willing to work but unable to find an employment opportunity, we call it as the unemployment. So we cannot call the brother and sister of Sakal as unemployed. Point number one. Point number two. So who estimates the unemployment in India? That is the one another dimension that I wanted to discuss. In India, we have a ministry called as a Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, which conducts a very important survey called as periodic labor force survey. Periodic labor force survey. Yes, in India we have a ministry called as the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This ministry, through the office of National Statistical Office, conducts an important survey called as the PLFS, that is the periodic labor force survey. This estimate the unemployment rate in India, which was started in the year 2070. That you need to remember. That is what is the reinterpretation that I wanted to tell you with regard to this dimension, that is the unemployment. Whom can we call as the unemployed? Point number one. Point number two, what is a working age group in India, and what is a working age group according to the International Labour Organization, and who is entrusted with the task of measuring the unemployment in India? That is the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. What is a survey that they are carrying out? Periodic labor force survey, which was started in the year 2017. Prior to it, they used to conduct something called as the employment and the unemployment survey. Now moving further in the chapter itself, since the whole story, it talks about, it revolves around the rural village of the park. Sorry, so it talks about the rural. Now in rural India, we mainly see the two kind of unemployment that are being discussed here. One happens to be the seasonal unemployment, another one happens to be the disguised unemployment. Now what is the seasonal unemployment? They remain, the unemployment happens when people are not able to find jobs during some months of the year. Take an example of the agriculture itself. In agriculture, since rural is characterized by the agriculture happens to be the predominant economic activity, but the agriculture is not able to provide you the job around the year, where you will find employment opportunities only during the time of the sowing season as well as the season of the harvest. So seasonal unemployment, where the individual, the people remain unemployed during a particular season of the year. Then what is a disguised unemployment? See, in the same rural India, we also find out one more unemployment where more number of people are working than required. Let's say there is a family of the size of the five people. These five people are working on their family farm of a 1 acre of a land. Okay, even though this requires only two people, but how many people are working? The five people are working, but it requires how many? It requires only two. So the additional economic productivity of these three people is zero. That is what is the disguised unemployment. In a very simple word, more number of people are working than the required. So the additional, economic productivity or the labor productivity of those people will be zero. Only two people required. We are seeing that five people are working. This is another one that we see with regard to the India. Why this is disguised unemployment is being seen? First and foremost, we know very clearly, even to the day, at least 48% of the population still is dependent upon the agriculture. Now this 48% of the people are still dependent on the agriculture. Reason being, the other sectors like the manufacturing or the service sector is unable to absorb these people who are part of agriculture. That is the one reason. So manufacturing and service is not generating enough number of employment opportunities. That is the one case. Second number case, the people who are stuck in the agriculture, maybe they're not having the right skill that are demanded by the manufacturing or these services. This can also be the case. So as a result of this, the disguised unemployment is seen. Disguised unemployment is generally seen in the developing economies where the population lack the skills that are there is skills for which there is a demand. So how do we reduce the disguised unemployment? First, ensure that the manufacturing and services are generating enough employment opportunities, as well as there is a need of upskilling as well. So what we saw something called as the seasonal unemployment as well as the disguised unemployment. Apart from that, we also saw who estimate power, I'm sorry, unemployment rate in India. That happens to be the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. They have a specific office called as the National Statistical Office. Through the National Statistical Office, they conduct something called as periodic labor force survey. So that's it in this particular video session where we discussed a theme called as the unemployment. So do like, do share, do subscribe of our channel, and do spread this video among your friends who are also preparing for these civil services. And if you want any specific product from us, do let us know in the comment section as well. Thank you.